I'm Mark Lawson, president of MorningStar Music Publishers, and we are pleased today to be joined by Sonya Sutton, past president of the Association of Anglican Church Musicians. We are the proud publishers of the series, and we have 4 new pieces coming out in that series, and we thought it would be good just to do a little bit of a discussion about those pieces. So welcome, Sonya.
Thank you. Good to be with you.
So tell us a little bit about the process that you're using to select the pieces that are in the series.
Well, there's a group of 5, including me, 6 people who look at pieces that have come to you and that you've sent on to us or have come to us directly. And the kinds of things we're looking for are great texts, foundational texts, traditional texts, or new words that speak more to the broad inclusivity of Anglicanism today. So we're certainly looking at either of those, but words that are beautifully written. That's of equal importance to music that's well crafted, that is written for voices in a way that helps choirs succeed. I think that's very important. And it can be any kind of choir, from the simplest unison choir, which is not simple as we know, to, many divisi parts. And then we're looking for music that is flexible, that can be used in a lot of different circumstances possibly, and also music that, of course, supports Anglican Episcopal liturgies.
I think this particular batch has a representation of all of those things, actually. You have some things that are very old texts, some new texts, some mass setting. So it's going to be interesting to see these pieces out in the world. So let's talk about them for just a moment. The first one that I'll mention is a mass by Rob Lehman called the Cranbrook Mass. Tell me what about this piece.
Well, Rob is an experienced composer for choirs, very experienced in working with choirs, and that comes through in how he writes for choirs. The lines always kind of sing themselves. This is a unison mass setting. So it could be, theoretically, it could be a congregational setting. Certainly, it could be used with a treble choir. It could just be used with any choir. And I think the charm of it is that it's based on known hymn tunes from Eastertide, although I think there's a little quote from I Sing a Song of the Saints of God in there too. And so there are these little moments that kind of tickle the ear, which would be a lot of fun for any congregation to hear or to sing, certainly.
And there's optional brass parts, which makes this appealing as well. You can do it with or without the brass. So that makes it exceptionally usable.
Absolutely. And of course, a smaller church on Easter, if they've got the brass and have the choral forces, this would be something that you could put together. That would be what a wonderful thing for a less resourced parish or a smaller choir at Easter time.
Then another piece by just revered composer Gerald is a hymn of St. Francis, which is a fairly simple piece, actually. Would you like to mention this a second?
Well, yeah, as you say, revered composer, has given so much to church music with his compositions. And this exuberant text, useful in so many different occasions. And I think, as you say, fairly simple, but with this wonderful organ part. And I think it's the kind of piece that makes any choir sound good. And that's certainly one of our goals always.
A new composer to our catalog is Angela Birkhead-Flight, and she has written a piece called A Steady Flame to Light the Darkness. And this one actually has several versions, and I can talk about those, but would you just talk about her for a moment and maybe the piece?
Sure. She is new to me as well. Our committee was immediately taken by this piece. We loved just the beautiful melodic writing of it, and sort of captures a traditional American spirit in its tone. And then the flexibility, we loved that as well, that it could be, you can say more, but written for choir and organ or choir with piano and violin. And so it's been those colors then that really support this beautiful melodic writing. It's a text that she wrote, new words for today. And I think it's very useful at different times. Could be an Advent or Epiphany or evening.
And there are different voicings of this piece as well. So you will see several options on this. But we did this in a way so you only had to buy the choral score wants to have options for both versions. So the choir is the same no matter if you're singing the organ version or the version with piano and violin. And then if you want to do the piano and violin, you buy an extra score, which has the violin part and the piano part. So I've tried to make it as flexible as possible for people to use.
Wonderful. And that was a good thing to have in our libraries.
And then
That kind
finally,
of,
a setting by Ryan Tippett's, which is If You Love Me.
And I think rightly someone could say, do we need another setting of this text when we have the perfect setting in Thomas Tallis's? And yet this is, time-honored words, but a beautiful setting that absolutely honors those words. Some divisi, but I think not out of the range of a good average choir that's well balanced. And so I think maybe has soprano and alto divisi. I'm not recalling at this moment, but it is very useful and to a moderately sized choir or even a more advanced choir. And it uses those lush contemporary harmonies that so many of us love.
Yes. So I would encourage you to take a look at these pieces. It's pretty easy to do. You can go to the choral section on our website, check new releases, and you'll find all the new releases there. But you can also filter it if you do the new releases and go to the side and look for the series button. The series pops up pretty close to the top because it's all arranged alphabetically. So we ask you to take a look at these pieces and hope that you find something there that is usable for you. So Sonya, thank you very much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day.